As Magnus opened with, the technology is moving far faster than we are able to handle. Another problem is that we have to agree globally, and as everybody knows, just agreeing in Norway is difficult enough. So we have some issues. And Bitgate producing solutions that make it a lot easier for everybody makes that we have to handle it. So we may be behind, but we're luring in the shadows, as I tried to show. We've been working on the crypto area since 2012. Maybe not so visible, but mainly to follow the tech side and to assist when there's crime involved, which was previously, still is, but previously it was a larger proportion. From 2017, we saw that the market exploded, and a lot of Norwegians traded in cryptocurrencies. So we had to prioritize the area and work on it. We had an analysis done, and almost all the data from financial institution is already pre-filled in your tax return. And there are some data that isn't, and of the data that is not pre-filled, cryptocurrencies was by far the largest risk, accounting for almost or more than half of all the alterations made in financial assets. So it was significant. To look at the numbers, a lot of numbers have been thrown around. About 8,000 people noted something with cryptocurrency on their 2017 tax return. We have been working quite hard to identify people that are trading in cryptocurrencies in Norway. And as of now, we have identified about 60,000 people. So the gap is quite large. We're estimating, well, we had an estimate of around 50 to 80,000 Norwegians for 2017. We're getting there, around there. I got a batch of 14,000 new people last week, so they're working hard at identification. Menon also had an analysis. They took 1,000 people. They asked them, do you own cryptocurrency? And based on that percentage, they escalated on the Norwegian population and found about approximately 200,000. But if we look at this gap, we see that we had, for income for 2017, there were about 1 billion Norwegian kroners. And in wealth, we had about 5 billion. And if you escalate that gap between the ones that actually reported and the ones that didn't, we have a significant gap, which gets our attention. And then you can think that, okay, if everybody else does not return or say anything, then I don't have to do it either. So I just like to mention, we had a case in the media last week. There was a person not crypto related, it was related to something else, but he had not reported his income. It was about 900,000, I believe, for over 3 years. And he got 8 months in jail, so it's important. And we're working on it, so it's a hint. So, we looked at the ones we have identified, and maybe not as a surprise, the people that trade cryptocurrencies are mostly in the cities, around universities, and so on. So it gives you an idea of the spreading in Norway. So what are we doing? We're not only going around hitting people in the head, we're also trying to make it easier to give your information. We've tried to clarify the rules. The rules, there has been non-clarity from our side. We have to be open about that. We tried to make it clearer last year. We had new information out that covered not everything, but I believe a lot. We're also from this year we have a new form that you're actually able to fill out a drop-down menu for cryptocurrencies. That was not possible earlier. And we also set up our own task force on cryptocurrencies, not only to be able to dig, but also so that everybody that are in this area get the same treatment. So it's not random where your taxes are handled. We're also collaborating internationally on different areas, both data and technology and such, and with private sector, universities and so on. We're collecting a lot of data from brokers, exchanges, nationally and internationally. Okay, so what can you do? We have new posts on a tax return that you can fill out. And you don't have to have your documentation delivered with your tax return, but you have to have it available. So if this year you're reporting a lot of losses and you didn't report anything the previous years, the likelihood of control is quite high. You need to show your entry point and you show your whole thread of tax or trading. You can also, by yourself, go and change your declaration for 2016 and 2017. That's new. And you can do that anytime. So before we go out and make a control, if we've already started a control, it's too late. But before we start a control, you can go in and alter your tax return. Before 2016, you can also change it, but it's a longer procedure. But it's called frivillig retting. It's a separate form for that. This is the form that we've set up. It only shows you a little bit. Unfortunately, it's a bit longer. But you can set up what kind of coins you've been trading, what kind of wealth you have in that coin, what kind of gains, what kind of losses you have on the further right. So it's a lot easier than before to report your cryptocurrencies. On the IT side, we use third-party tools to identify and analyze wallets. Also to look at if you say, okay, I have these two wallets, and then we go in and analyze these two wallets, and we see, okay, with quite a 95% probability, you also have these 10 other wallets with a lot of money on it. So we have tools to look at the broader aspect and to analyze trade patterns and so on. We're also working on in-house tools. Mapping transactions naturally, but also on the bundling side. We looked at some research, and they had about, I believe they had about 85% hit rate on the bundling of accounts. If you give us one account or two accounts, we can trace other accounts that you also have. We had about on the ones we found, we had about 92 or 93% hit rate. So it's at least higher than the papers out today. We're collaborating with leading academic environments on artificial intelligence. It's an exciting field. We're also hoping to develop a lot of these tools or elements of these tools based on open source and collaborating with private and other institutions. There are some legal snafus there, but we're hoping to get that done. We see that there's a lot of competence out there, more than we have probably, so we need to collaborate. That's it for me. We have some information, as I said, on our page, so I have had some links there. Thank you very much.